Welcome back to another episode of our Drift Car Build-Off presented by Spec Clutch and Koyorad.
Today is buttoning it up day where we're going to put in the drive shaft, put fluids in it, put it on the ground,
And
just the right height, and then turn the key. Here's our drive shaft, and we are going to change out this center carrier bearing. The bushing material on this thing is pretty old and worn and cracking in there, so while it's out of the car is the right time to change it out.
Yeah, it's the right time to do it right now.
Yeah, I searched the forums and there was a lot of belly aching about how hard a job this is, mainly because it's not easy to take the drive shaft out, although frankly it's not hard. I think maybe
You got to drop the exhaust, you got to drop that whole heat shield, so yes and no, but
it's a bit of a job. So since this is out of the car, let's do it. Pete picked up this replacement unit from, is it Rock Auto?
yeah.
It's a Rock Auto part?
Yep.
Pete cheaped out on this one?
No, I didn't. It's a Febby part, so it should be
Okay.
pretty good.
Not OEM though?
No,
Oh,
no OEM on this.
Step one is to paint mark your drive shaft where it's going to separate from the other half, because you want to line this sucker back up properly. It's balanced, so you want it to go back in exactly the way it came off. I think I'm paint marking the right area there, Pete. I'm not exactly sure where it separates here, but
I think you marked this side too, just
That's
in
true,
case.
yeah,
Just to be on the safe side, just
Yeah.
mark the whole dang thing.
yeah, why not? This will kind of get us in the
There you
ballpark.
go. Look at that.
All right, as you can see, there is a nut, sorry, not a nut, but a bolt that holds the two halves of the drive shaft together down in here, which is actually different than the regular E46, which has a nut on the shaft here that you undo. So you M3 guys need to get your 18 mil gear wrench or box end wrench down into the hole here and onto the head of this bolt. And you have to set it up the right way, because I'm set up to tighten it right now. So we'll just turn that around.
Just about to call you out, but
And here we
good
go.
save, DP.
Yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 3, send it. Well, she's rusty, but she's turning.
Oh yeah, man, look at that. Look at that.
Oh man, getting down to the vinegar strokes here, PT. I think.
Well, we're not getting a wrench out, that's for sure, right?
No, wrench. But the bolt is loose, so now
Okay, so now we got
we need to
separate
separate this
thing?
and hopefully.
We'll just
gain some room
slide
here.
out. You got to get the hammer to tap
I
it.
think we probably do need to give it a tappy.
Starting to get real in here, PT. Oh my God.
We're trying to put heat into this thing and it's turned into smoke on the water.
Yeah, well, we've got ourselves a serious problem. We can't separate the drive shaft. Go figure. This is like typical rust issue. So now we're putting a bunch of heat into it and hoping for the best here.
My God, though, the smoke.
Okay, bolt buster's got to come off. Let's do this, DP.
Oh man, this is good for the lungs. Buddy.
Yeah.
All right, send it. Come on, baby. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Yeah.
Woo! Victory!
Ric Flair.
Yes! The bolt buster!
The rest.
Holy smokes!
That was
This
brutal.
is the investment. Wow, we heated that thing up.
That was
I mean, I think we may have cancer now, but
Yeah, we definitely have cancer.
oh,
Oh, man.
holy!
Totally worth it though.
Well, check out our contraption here. We had the slide hammer hooked up, and it's bent the bolts here pretty badly, but we got this off. All right.
That was a battle. Man, what a battle that was getting this thing separated. But now that it is, it means we can knock the carrier
All
barrier
that
off
for this
here.
little carrier bearing, right?
I know. Makes you wonder if it was really worth it or not. Because I mean, this one is not great, but it's like you can
It's
see
just so
pretty
much
well here.
work. This is the hole that we've gone down is everything's apart. So the moment that you don't have to replace this, or when you do and it's back on the car,
Yeah.
it's so much more work, right?
Yeah, you'd be kicking yourself if you didn't do
Yeah.
it now. So
And these are such a common problem. So
they are. So let's see if we can tap this guy off here. Oh, there we go.
wow. Well, it actually came off without the bearing. Of course it did, because that's seized on there.
Oh man.
At least now, no, this is good, DP. This is good news because
Okay.
I can get a puller on there and yank that off. You can see it. It's pretty rusty with everything.
Crazy how rusty the splines are on the shaft.
I know.
too.
It's kind of crazy, but
That's
anyways,
so rusty.
this would be much easier if this was a California car.
Yeah, that's Peter's message every episode. Get a California
Don't buy
car.
Canadian. Don't buy Rust Belt, I should say.
Oh, man.
Buy a car that isn't rusty. Okay, well, now we're getting out the puller.
All right.
Got my puller on the bearing here, and let's see what happens. Pull it up here. Oh,
It is not moving.
damn.
Not
It is
moving.
not moving much either.
Time for the bolt buster again?
No. I'm gonna keep at this. Take two here. Gun was not working, and I think the shaking and the impact isn't great for that anyway. So I'm gonna try the old hand technique here. Let's see what happens. Something feels like it's gonna go. Oh, it's moving. I can see it. Yeah. Yes.
Man, when it pops, it pops.
Well, that was very anticlimactic there, DP, but we do have our bearing off. So finally, that means we can press on our new carrier bearing. And remember when you chirped me and you said something about this being a cheap model that I bought?
Yeah, I do.
Can you read that? Can you see what that says there?
Oh.
Because I think that
a
says BMW.
Oh.
Yeah, this is...
Does that mean they're just calling it a BMW part though? Or does that mean it's an
No,
OEM part?
This is OEM BMW, my friend. Just
Are you
repackaged
sure,
in the
PT?
aftermarket. 100% I am. You can't use the BMW marker on it unless it's an actual BMW product.
All
So
right, well, I take
look,
it back.
look,
then.
look.
I
This
take it
one looks
back.
exactly the same
I
as this one.
stand
Look at
corrected.
all of it.
China
Look
did
at
an
this.
excellent job of knocking it off.
Look at
and
this.
I'll take the heat. I'll take the heat.
No. This is OEM.
All right,
As close as they come. Okay.
I'm sold.
Without further boring you with how much work and labor it takes, as you can imagine, this now just goes back on here. You press it on and you put it back together, which is what we're going to show you in time-lapse fashion here.
Drive shaft finally in place. It's time to start putting fluids back in this machine. Exciting times, and we are going to start with the differential, and for that we have gone with a Redline 75W140. Of course, if this was a street car, you could just fill it with the factory stuff and be good to go. But this being a drift car, we want to put in the best performing oil we can. So Redline is obviously a motorsports brand that makes really high quality oils that we've tested a bunch ourselves in a bunch of our cars. I use it for years in my Canadian touring car Civic. It's great stuff. I love their gear oil especially, and this has the friction modifier that you need in it for M series cars. So this is the right stuff to be putting in here. We have put a couple quarts into our Motive power bleeder here, something Pete bought because he was unsatisfied with my hand pump. Wasn't good enough for him, so we've pressurized
Didn't work
this.
properly.
We've got 15 pounds of pressure in there. We're gonna open this ball valve and see what happens. Let the games begin.
See what?
Oh yeah, I see fluid traveling. Here it comes.
Slowly.
Look at that golden elixir.
There it goes. There it goes.
Go in your home, fluid. Go in your home. D4 ATF is what we're using in the transmission here. This is, again, what Redline recommends for this transmission, and in fact, the factory fill is also a D4 ATF. Still weirds me out that manual transmissions use ATF, but these late series BMWs and even like T56 transmissions from GM use it. So apparently it's got like a 70W80 weight, something like that, for you guys who care about viscosities. So this takes about 2 liters. We've dumped the whole bottle in here and then marked 3.75 liters on here just so we have kind of a visual. Last time we cut it a bit close and it started to aerate the fluid at the end, so wanted to avoid that. Are we pressurized, PT?
Not yet.
By the way, I should mention that Pete bought this on Amazon, so we'll throw a link in the description of that in case you want to buy it.
People definitely want to buy this.
It's impressive. I think it's a really good tool. Shutting off the ball valve here to end the flow of D4 ATF.
Oh, we got a lot coming out.
She is gushing out of there real good.
Looks like this time
what we learned is that a lighter fluid moves a lot faster, because that only took a minute to fill with this much lighter fluid. So we should have figured that one out before. That the heavier the oil, the slower it's going to move. Heisman Trophy pose here. All right. Time for the engine oil. Obviously, we have gone with Redline again, and this is their 10W60, specifically formulated for M cars, including the E46 M3 engine, as well as like the S65 and the E9092 model. It has a package specifically designed for these motors that includes a high level of ZDDP, which I think is just a acronym for zinc and phosphorus. So zinc, as you know, is a really good protecting agent for bearing surfaces as well as rings. So this is a particularly good oil in like high heat environments, say with a turbo motor or a high revving engine like this, which is going to have the life beat out of it by my main man PT once we get this thing fired up. So let's fill this up with however many liters the factory fill is. I haven't looked that up yet, but we'll look it up and fill it up with the right amount. By the way, we also got some of Redline's fuel system cleaner. Gonna dump that in the fuel system and give the injectors a little tune up, because it's a high mileage car, so why not?
It's coolant time. Our preferred choice is the Xerox original formula. And I've got my pressure system here set up that fills the coolant. And the basic principle of this, if you don't know, is that it creates a vacuum, draws all the air out of the coolant system, and then you open this valve and it should suck all of the coolant back in. However, this product that I bought on Amazon doesn't work very well, so it's like a 50% chance that this is going to work. So I'm gonna crack this open. So what you do is open up the valve, and now we're gonna fill this up. You can see that right there, so now it's drawing vacuum.
Too leaky a system you got there.
Okay, so now what I gotta do is close this real quick, open it. Oh! Okay, well that didn't go as planned, and that's because I forgot to shut my valve here. Now I should be able to open this, but see, it leaks out so quickly, and then open this valve.
Oh yeah.
See, now it works.
Drawing some fluid.
And it's drawing the coolant. You gotta keep this under here. See that air? That's not a good sign.
Yeah,
and we're done. And we're done.
What a piece of garbage.
This is a piece of garbage. Mega fail. So I guess we're gonna have to fill this thing the normal way that I thought we were going to anyways. This is another product that I purchased on Amazon.
This funnel?
This funnel.
Okay.
But
it gives you a high point in the system.
And it works much better. As you can see, there's no leaking.
Yeah, you're not shooting a cloud of glycol.
I'm not cursing 20 times.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd say we've got ourselves a win here with this. However, maybe you guys can post in the comments and tell me, do these cars need a certain burping technique to bleed the whole system? Or is it just fill it, turn it on, run it, let the air come out of this, and we're good to go. This fuse means our fuel pump is disconnected. I want to prime this motor before we start it. And I just went to reach down to move the seat forward, and I forgot. Guess what?
Electric seat.
Oh, yes.
Woo.
Only in a BMW. Much love with that. All right, DP. We should be ready to go. Let's see what happens here. Woo. Yes. That is priming up good. All right.
Well, it's not on fire yet, PT. That's a good sign.
That is a good sign. I think we're ready to put this fuse back in and start this. I'm nervous, but I guess this is what always happens when you rebuild a car. You're going to be a little bit nervous, so cross your fingers for me, people. Let's hope this thing runs with the first crank.
Woo, she's ready to fire. She wants to party,
ready
PT.
To fire. I don't know if she is going to fire, though.
Come on, baby.
Wow! Whoa!
traction control light on, but
All right.
oh man, dude.
Blue's checking for leaks. Back in oil pressure?
Yeah, we've got oil pressure. It's at 50 psi right now. Water temperature's coming up. Obviously, oil temperature is fine. So we're gonna have a lot of smoke here in a moment, DP. I think we're going to shut this thing down. It's actually starting to idle properly.
Yeah.
So man,
Yeah, that's exciting.
I mean, hey, high five to that,
Yeah, buddy.
man. Hell yeah, this thing's running.
Water at the overflow tank.
Pushing water out the top?
Yeah.
All right, well, we're shutting her down here. Wow,
Man, that thing sounds good.
it does sound good.
We've also smoked the shop out here.
We have, again, this is twice today. Holy smokes.
That's
But,
what open headers will do. And a lot of assembly
Dude,
lube.
amazing. The car runs. That's so good.
Yeah, man.
I think it's safe to say we're going to end this episode on that high note. We have a running rebuilt M3. I am beyond excited for this car. It has been a long process to get it back together, but you know what? I think it's so well worth it. We've got pretty much everything's been rebuilt for the most part. Obviously, there's a lot of other things we could cover in the motor, but it is there. I think it's going to be extremely reliable. It's going to be an awesome drift machine. I can't wait to get it out. There are, however, some small things that we do need to take care of, like putting in brake fluid, rebuilding the whole front end again, and the exhaust system and the suspension tuning. We got to figure out the ride height on this too. So that will be for another episode. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to have this car fire up and be ready to go. So if you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and check out Patreon or the join button to join our YouTube memberships.
Trying to do it left-handed because I wrecked my right arm, and I don't have the coordination with the left hand. Oh my God, the forearm! It's not working.
All right,
All right.
it's time for PT to sub in here.